Good day everyone, my name is Imani Neves, and in this video I'll be describing to you the methodology of how to measure 7 medical parameters for my medical physics lab experiment. The parameters to be explained are, as you see here, weight, height, pulse rate, blood pressure, body temperature, blood sugar level, and vision. So of course now we'll start with the first and second parameters, weight and height. So this device is called a mechanical scale or a physician beam scale. And as you can see, we have the balance beam stabilized by the upper and lower poise bars, aka the large weight indicator and the small weight indicator. And then you have the window and the balance bar sticking out of it that when balanced, as in it's not touching the window, tells you that you've got the correct weight. So once the person is standing on the scale with no shoes on and nothing in their pockets, you can start to adjust the lower poise bar, also known as the large weight indicator. So as you can see, the balance bar is at the top of the window, indicating that the weight on the scale is too low. So what you can do is to keep increasing the weight in increments of 50 pounds until the bar goes to the bottom of the window. This means that you've now gone overweight. So now you know that the person's weight is somewhere in between the last two increments. So what you can do is you can put it back to the previous increment and now start adjusting the small weight indicator. So this one is more for fine tuning, so you can gently move it up until the balance bar is in the middle of the window, indicating that you've got your weight, which is simply the sum of the readings on the lower and upper bar. So for this person, their weight is about 150 on the lower bar plus 11 on the upper bar, giving a final weight of 161 pounds. So typically attached to this physician beam scale will be a height rod. So as you can see, this height rod is telescoped with an adjustable segment. And this segment, as you can see, has the scale marked onto it. So once the top of the rod has reached the person's head appropriately, the arrow will indicate the person's height. Now for the third parameter, we'll be measuring pulse rate. So here we're going along the base of the thumb to find the anatomical snuff box on the radial side of the hand. So we press down until we feel a pulsating vessel. Then with a timer, we count the pulses felt within 10 seconds. Once we have that figure, we multiply it by 6 to get the radial pulse rate in beats per minute. So for the fourth parameter, we'll be measuring temperature. Unfortunately, no videos were gotten specifically for this measurement, so the layout will be a little different. Nevertheless, we have the instruments used to measure body temperature. Now on the left we have the digital thermometer and on the right we have the mercury thermometer. Now while both are often used to measure body temperature, usually the digital thermometer is preferred. This is because in the case of the mercury thermometer, you run the risk of the glass tubing breaking, and as mercury is harmful and toxic, that is rather avoided. So regardless of which thermometer you use, here are some ways that you can use them to measure body temperature. So the different ways would be placing the side with the metal tip either under the armpit, in the mouth, in the air, or in the rectum. And now for the fifth parameter that we'll be measuring, blood pressure. So here we have 3 different blood pressure cuffs of varying sizes with ranges based on the circumference of the person's arm. Therefore, first, we must measure the circumference. For this person, that is, as you can see, 30 centimeters. So now we can choose a cuff with an appropriate range. Here we have one ranging from 28 to 34, so this one works. So first, we find a measurable pulse, line it up with the auxiliary artery arrow that you can see there, and secure the cuff around the arm. Once secure, we can now press the button on the monitor and begin finding the blood pressure. You will notice that the cuff will inflate with air, creating pressure that can be used to detect the person's blood pressure. Moving now on to the sixth parameter, we'll be measuring vision. So this method uses what is known as the Snellen chart, as pointed out here. To use this chart, you must stand at the instructed distance away from the chart, which in this case, for this one, is 6 feet away. Covering one eye with a hand or spoon, begin reading each letter on the lines, getting successively smaller until you can no longer comfortably identify 50% of the letters without squinting. Then switch eyes and repeat. Your visual acuity score can then be determined for each eye by a licensed optometrist or ophthalmologist. And now for the final parameter, blood sugar. For this test, a blood glucose meter is used along with a test strip and a lancing device. So how to measure blood glucose levels using these instruments would be, after washing hands, insert a test strip into the meter. Use the lancing device on the side of a fingertip to attain a drop of blood. Touch and hold the edge of the test strip to the drop of blood and wait for the result. The blood glucose level would then appear on the meter's display.